Okay. Hello and welcome to Snoofa Late Night TV. As ever, I'm your host, Anza. If you're familiar with our program, you know that I start all of our shows by acknowledging the land that Sierra Nevada University sits on in Incline Village, Nevada is Washoe land. The Washoe people have lived, thrived, and stewarded this land long before the school is here and continues to do so to this day. We acknowledge the Washoe people for their land and pay our respects to elders past and present. This evening, we are thrilled to have you, our virtual live audience, here with us as we bring you an absolutely incredible story. Tonight will be the first ever exclusive interview with the woman who turned into a dragon, Kirsten Vickery. To help orient us on this journey, we have our world famous interviewer, Chris Lanier, calling in from his studio. Listen closely, folks, because at the end of our program, Kirsten will be taking questions from you, our audience. For now, we're going to ask that you turn off your videos and microphones, but don't worry, because we're going to ask you to turn them back on soon. Please use the chat feature whilst your videos and microphones are off to stay in communication with our audience around the world and myself, your host. I know that I'm hanging on the edge of my seat, and I can imagine you all are as well. So with no more ado, I introduce you to and hand it over to Kirsten and Chris.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that generous introduction. I am broadcasting here from Snoofa's high-tech sound studio, and I want to thank Kirsten for giving us this exclusive and frankly incredible interview. So just to kick us off, without further ado, Kirsten, could you please explain to us what happened during one of your travels around the world, and how did you come to discover the mysterious necklace that you're wearing?
So it all happened when I went to Vietnam, and I got to explore the Hong Long Bay, which is in their language called Descending Dragon. And in these images, these postcards I'm showing you here is the Dragon Island, and it's a beautiful place. And I heard about the cave that is called the Song Sot Cave. And I went there with my tour guide, and he told me not to touch the rocks because we don't know what's growing on these rocks for millions of years. And that's pretty much when I discovered the shiny object on the dirt pathway, which is this necklace here. And just before I picked up the necklace itself, I then felt this shock, this just jolt. And I just was like, first it was like pain, but then at the second time, it was like, at the second thought was, well, that's weird. And so just a quick look at the necklace was, I couldn't tell what type of dragon it was, whether it's an English dragon or it's a Scottish dragon. I couldn't tell what type it is, and it comes with a purple gemstone. And I felt this, after the jolt, I felt this amazing aurora, this energy that was emanating from the necklace itself. And just putting it into my pocket and went on my way with a tour guide, and really didn't know that there was a powerful curse that is on this necklace, which can turn the person into a dragon, whether it is a four-legged dragon or an eight-headed dragon, which could be known as Orochi from Japanese mythology and history, or it could be a Quetzalcoatl, a Aztec uh, rainbow-winged serpent.
So how did you find out about this curse, and what did you learn about its side effects?
In order to find out and study this mysterious necklace, I went to the Quinlan library that is by the Bay Area. And after searching through their computers and searching through their books, I could not find a single information that talked about this necklace. And so I went to the librarian and asked her, going, do you have any information? Do you have any books whatsoever that would uh, talk about this necklace in particular? Like, do you have any jewelry books or something like that? And she said that we do have some other books in the back of the library. So we went there, and there was just cardboard boxes everywhere. Like, they're all closed, and they're covered in webs, and they're covered in dust for who knows how long they had been there. And then I let the then we just the me and the librarian both looked for any sort of unusual book that could explain. And I found a book that was covered that was wrapped up in a plastic covering. And so I let the librarian uncover this book, and it was a pretty thick book that had all these pages, but I couldn't tell at first. And then the first thing I saw was a legit title that is called as the true stories of other dimensional dragons. And I felt really excited, as much as I am excited to be on this show here. Um, so I was really excited as the librarian opened the book, and there was these beautiful pages of vibrant colored dragons, whether it's a drake or a leviathan. And it was just, I could tell there was like some Greek and there was some Aztec, and the list goes on. And I just was in awe, really. And then I and then that's when I pretty much, I'm sorry, I almost lost in thought when I remember that day. Um, and that's pretty much when I found the page that actually talked about this necklace, and like, and there's more questions in my mind going, um, how long will this transformation? How long will, uh, like, where did it come from? Or, and there's other questions that I had in my mind. And there's an interesting bit of information that I found, was that this necklace was made from meteor silver rock, which is from outer space, literally. And since space is actually cold, it would probably would have be very difficult to actually melt the rock at a really high temperature, whether it could be a fire-breathing dragon from the cosmos or someone from another dimension to make this meteor uh, silver ore into this necklace itself. And I think that's why I could felt the energy emanating from this necklace itself, but I'm not entirely sure. That's only my assumption. And then I believe that I pretty much asked the librarian if there was another copy of this book. She said there's only the one of its kind, and um, I believe that I remembered saying to her was, "Well, can I have this book?" And um, well, that was actually my thought process was, can I have this book? And she says, with after seeing that I was interested in having the book, um, so she um, said that as long as I take care of it, I can have it. And I was really excited. And as I was going back to my hotel, I don't remember the name of it at this moment, um, was that my two thoughts were, A, it could be like why is it not in a historical museum or some secret government location like Area 51? And I was like, why is it not in a secure location if this is a real legit book? Or B, this could be like someone who had gone crazy and just created this book out of boredom. I don't know. So it could be one of those two thoughts. And when I got back to the hotel, I was just getting ready for the night to, um, and I was brushing my teeth, and that's pretty much when, and you can see in this video that I took, was I was brushing my teeth like normal, and then all of a sudden I felt my mouth on fire, legit. And then that's when I noticed that my sharp dragon teeth were coming in. And I was like, that's weird. I don't know what's going on. I was like panicking, and looking through the book quickly was when I saw information saying use cold water to stop the transformation. And I did that, and it actually, um, oh, actually, I'm actually starting to feel that weird fire breath all of a sudden. Um, uh, oh, it hurts. Ow. Ah, okay. I think it's the warm atmosphere. I don't know what's going on, but it's just weird. Uh, I think it's a warm moisture in the air, so I'm sorry it will be hard to understand, but I'll do my best.
My apologies for not controlling the climate in the studio as well as we could have. I did want to touch base about a dream that you mentioned in the pre-interview that you had on your last night of Vietnam. Could you explain that for the audience?
Yeah, right. And after that sensation of identity, I went to bed, um, and I started dreaming about a dragon that was in some sort of mountains. I couldn't tell what mountain it was. And I went into a cave, and then it tried to go into the cave, but then it ended up being a ball of clay. And I couldn't tell what that meant. Like, why did I start dreaming about dragons? Like, it's just so weird that sometimes dreams can mean, like, this is the future, this will happen. But I couldn't really tell because dreams are hard to interpret what they mean.
Yeah, and then Kirsten, after you came home to Idaho, were there any strange happenings while you were at your parents' house? And if so, could you please tell us about what you did and how you overcame your challenges?
The second strange thing that happened um was that I was like, it was the next day, after I returned back to the States, was when I was washing my face just to get ready for the day. And was that then I was washing my face, and some of the water got on my forearms. I was washing my face, and then then all of a sudden I started to feel itchy sensation on my face and my arms. And I thought that the water was contaminated some way. Um, and I was using hot water at that point, um, which I had forgotten that the temperature was in the book that if you use hot water, it actually increases the transformation process, which is a bad idea. Don't use hot water. So, um, I used cold water to quickly stop the transformation. And as I was doing that, I saw that my scales, I started to have scales on legit on my forearms, which you can see right now is the shiny scales both on my forearms here. I also have spines on these forearms. Um, and at that moment, it was, I mean, like how a bearded dragon lizard would lose their old scale out with the old and in with the new, as the saying goes. Um, I was losing my old skin and was replaced by uh, fleshy uh, scales that were not really hardened. Right now, they're hardened right now. So,
Yeah.
and and eventually when I used the cold water, it did stop, but not all the way. And so I was able to hide the fact that I was transporting. So I started wearing the hat with a snow jacket, everything to just to cover whatever is growing on me that I don't want my parents to notice.
Well, and to that point, and I feel like I should let you know, Kirsten, that we do have cold water for all our guests in the studio, and I don't know if that would have some effect. If those fangs are giving you some discomfort,
Yeah,
that might have a positive effect on there.
yeah. And thank you for providing the water here. So let me just uh take a quick drink and then come back a little few minutes later. So let me just do that real quick. Like. Mm. Eve, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Crazy creature.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. Um,
I don't know where that came from. I mean, it's my pet baby dragon, so I don't know why. I think it just wants attention. So
well, you can let them know. I'm not sure what the diet is, but you can let them know that there are some donuts in the green room. And
Will do.
so I was wondering now, was it at this point that your parents finally got you to tell the truth about your discovery of this necklace from the Dragon Islands?
Yes, it was weeks after hiding the truth um, from my own parents, who were getting who were getting a lot of suspicious, really, of why I was wearing winter clothes, and it was that point where I started to have a fever of 100 degrees. I don't remember exactly the details, and I like took my hat, took my jacket, and my parents got to see what was underneath the winter clothes and the winter jacket, I mean. And they see a 2 foot long horns that is growing out of my skull, wings that are from my arms to my waist. Right now, just one of my hands right now, as you can see, is that it's already morphed into the wing. So right now I have a free hand, so I can actually move around, drink water. So I'm able to just still be part me, I guess. And when I was having that fever, I consulted in my dragon book to figure out if there's any information about having a fever in this transformation. There was, and it talked about that the human body needs to be in cold water. So, with the assistance of my mom, she dumped a giant bucket of cold water, just literally. We had to do it in the backyard, so we just dumped the cold water. And oh my gosh, it was cold. And as long as we don't do it as long as we don't increase the chances of hyperthermia, I mean, that's what the book said. Um, the transformation will actually calm down, and my body can adjust to these new dragon parts. Um, um, so then after the whole scenario was that I then asked my mom about going onto the website that's called ancestry.com and to show like my family tree from to my dad's and to my mom's side of their families, and to see if um, there was any information. There wasn't a connection between my ancestors to the necklace, but I did find a bit of information from the book that it was not only based on my ancestry, but it was also depending on royal blood. And from my mom's side of the family, I don't remember officially, I don't remember. Um, my mom's side of the family is that I have royalty in the family, but no, I don't dress up like a princess, like who wants to wear a crown. um, so there is that. And then after consulting throughout the book itself, it then talks about the difference between lizards, like Earth's reptiles, and versus the humans, us as the humans. And the difference was that for lizards, they have a easier chance of transforming into dragons depending on their dinosaur ancestors, versus the humans that have a harder time because we're not reptiles, we're mammals scientifically. Um, we're so for humans we have a harder time of transforming. So whether it's if it's in the hot or the cold, there's been information saying that it has been proven hard to find a perfect human being. I mean, there's no such thing as perfect human, I guess. Um, so it pretty much talked about that was so yeah, sorry.
No, no. So,
What's next?
yeah, no, I actually have a final question for you, which is, have you looked for clues of how to transform back to your human self, or are you actually committing to this transformation and seeing it all the way through to the end?
Well, I was desperate at first and just trying to find information like how long is this transformation? Will I forever be a dragon? Will I actually spit fire? Will I eat my friends? I hope not. uh, just there were so many questions that I was like really desperate. Um, I was like, oh please, when will this end? Like when? And and then and then just over time as I learned of how to not have a fever again, and just learning ways of to be a dragon, I actually just accepted the fact that I had felt like I'd been a dragon the whole time. I was born to be a dragon. And I, so I just pretty much, and to answer your question, Chris, is that yes, I am actually going through this transformation and seeing it to the end. Um, and in the book, the true stories of other dimensional dragons was that it doesn't really mention about having a person with multiple dragon species in one body. So I would only assume that is a rare thing. And then so there's no information that talked about it. And as I was learning to be a dragon, I also learned that sometimes I don't really have full control on my dragon mind. So I tend to be a full-on dragon, but I'm still human in some parts, in some ways, I mean. And as you can see from this GoPro video that I took while I was in my transformation, my dad had helped me uh, get the GoPro and then wear it on me just in case this happens. And it happened when um, um, I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was like in August somewhere, um, where I was only gone for a week, and I didn't really remember much of what happened. And through this GoPro video was just me flying over this beautiful area. I couldn't tell if I was actually flapping my wings like a bird or just gliding my wings like um, like maybe a flying gecko. I don't know. And I think I might have growled at some point throughout our interview, so I do apologize. And like I said already, was I don't have full control on my dragon mind, so um, pretty much at this moment, I'm still learning ways. Um, I'm still learning ways of how to be a dragon. Like, do I actually fly like a flying squirrel, or do I spit acid that could burn through furniture like we've seen in so many movies? Um, do I feel sensitive? Do I feel sensitive to sunlight? Um, I don't know. There's just so many opportunities that is yet to explore. Like the ocean has yet to explore. So there's just so many mysteries while I'm transforming. And I just would like to thank whoever or whatever put that necklace down on that dirt path from the Songsak cave and up until this point of me in the middle of my transformation. And I'm just thankful really to be here and share this amazing story. And I also want to thank everyone who've been my part of my life for 24 years. And I just wanted to thank everyone who explored the Sierra Nevada University with me, learning and sharing a few laughs, sharing a drink or two. And it's been an amazing 4.5 years tending to this school, and sorry, I'm gonna cry. And just, I want to thank everyone, and sorry. Yeah, I think I just want to say thank you to everyone, really.
Well, I thank you too. And honestly, I don't feel like an interview is done until the person who I'm interviewing has cried. So thank you for bringing that to a close. And I believe now Anza is going to be taking us out and opening us up to questions.
I mean, I have very few words. That is incredible and nearly unbelievable if you weren't here before us telling us this. And I would love to open this to questions from our live virtual audience. So please turn on your videos, turn back up. We want to be here with you all and ask some questions, or you can pop them in the chat and I can toss them out to Kirsten. However you want to question, we can do it.
Hey, Marshall, you got to be really quick. Mia has a question.
Mia, you're up.
Mia, here you are.
How is she a dragon?
How is she a dragon?
Well, Dan, just a short answer, just a long story short is, this necklace basically gave me the power to transform into this dragon. So I hope that answers your question.
Like,
Other questions for Kirsten?
something on.
I mean, I think we're all stunned right now. This is incredible to hear about.
It was really interesting. I know I'm gonna be thinking about it for a while tonight. It was brought up a lot of really cool points, and yeah, good job.
Thank you.
you.
Kirsten, we have a question if we can see your full form, if that's possible.
Okay, yeah. Just let me get up without knocking this table over because I tend to knock things down. So I apologize. I think my tail is around here somewhere. Sometimes I can't really find it because it hides in the shadows. That's one ability I can do. There it is. Here's my tail. There's my tail. So there's that. Sometimes my teeth do come in, but I think at this point, as long as I keep drinking cold water, I think I'll be fine for now.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Kirsten, do you plan on returning to the cave where you found the necklace?
I don't think so because of what's happening right now in this pandemic. So I don't think I would actually be returning to the cave anytime. So I mean, I hope I will someday when I go back. So I don't know yet.
I have another question from our live virtual audience, which is, can you speak to the ways in which those around you can support you while you're exploring the nuances of dragonhood?
Can I?
How can people support you while you're going through this transformation and exploring what it means to become a dragon?
Oh, I believe, in order to support, I believe that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer this question correctly.
There are no wrong answers.
Thank you. Um, I believe that we're just old dragons, really, just hiding and waiting to come out. So, whatever or however we do it, we're old dragons, really, or whatever we. I don't know. We're just old dragons, really, and we just don't know it yet.
Marshall has a question now.
Actually,
Could you ask your question, or Mia help him ask?
can you write a book? And actually, it's a little strange because when they're flying, like the first one on this video, it's like they're flying the safe.
Ah, he's comparing it to a story that he saw one time. And then Mia has a question about,
Are you gonna write a book about being a dragon?
are you going to write a book about being a dragon? She wants to see the story in book form.
Hmm. Well, I actually have started writing because since I was like transforming at the beginning, like from my scales to my forearms, I started writing down every day of every single details, like about my experience. So I am actually currently writing the story right now, but I don't have the book with me, unfortunately.
It looks like the librarian is interested when you do move farther along with the book project. So keep everyone tuned on that one.
Will do.
Other questions for Kirsten? Now's your chance, folks. Like, here we are with the woman who turned into a dragon.
What kind of
Oh, go ahead, Sherry Lee.
what kind of food do you like to eat? Has your diet changed
Well,
besides eating your friends or one?
well, I hope I don't need my friends. They're important to my life. So I guess I like eating rabbits. Apparently, I have this. They're cute and adorable, but when I'm in dragon form, they're prey. So I guess I like, and I guess they're kind of gamey, but I can't really say, hey, you can't eat that to my dragon because I don't have control of that. So there's rabbits, and then there's pheasant. I don't remember because just like taking these pieces of bone out of my mouth, and I was like, what did I just eat? Ugh. So I really don't. I guess it's just rabbit mostly.
Kirsten, since you've been a dragon, have you watched any movies that have dragons in them? And what do you think about them?
I have watched I don't know, but there's some dragon movies out there. There's like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. There's Aragon, and there is an Amazon movie that I saw like last year. I think it was like how I Am a Dragon. I don't remember, but it was a really interesting movie, and I think it was a good way to like learn how dragons fly and how they breathe fire and how do they protect themselves. It's just a really great way of learning how to be a dragon, instead of trying to figure it out all on my own. So, yeah.
I have a question. I wanted to know, what are the best and worst things about being a dragon?
The best times is, of course, showing off my wings. So I love my wings. They're all feathers. One is brown on the outside and then white on the inside. I also love that I have protective scales in case I'm in a fight. I don't know yet, so we'll see on GoPro eventually. The bad moment is and like I mentioned that I had like a baby dragon that came on show, and oh, here he comes. Oh, hi. He says that he really loves the people that are here. Yes, I understand dragons pretty well. He's just I guess he's like a two 14 days old so far. He already has his wings, as you can see, but he doesn't have feather wings as I do. So um I'm sorry, I think I lost track of my oh, just the worst moments is taking care of this little guy here. The worst moments is taking care of this guy because you have to feed him constantly. And being as a mother dragon, it's really hard. It's a hard job, honestly. That's the worst moment.
Kirsten, how have you adapted your living situation being a dragon, like your house and like bathroom situation, dishes, kitchen?
Well, pretty much I started living out in my backyard in a tent because I noticed that my wings are a little too long and I tend to catch myself into a bundle so I can't really move. So I have to be outside, which I have plenty of space to move my arms a lot. And I can't really eat properly um, with a fork or a spoon. So I actually started eating like a dragon, basically. Just I have to learn not to use silverware. It's really hard and very sad. And and I think that I I think not because of the dragon parts like the horns and stuff, but I think I'm also getting bigger. Um, and so eventually I get too big to live in the house, so I have to and probably not be able to live in the backyard. I most likely would be living in the mountains somewhere that is beautiful as Lake Tahoe, somewhere, or Vietnam. I don't know.
We have a wonderful question in the chat, which is, what kind of advice do you have for people going through a similar transformation process?
I would say my advice is don't be scared, because fear is like I would say that fear is the last thing because I was scared at first, but I was pretty much I'm just gonna say that just be yourself um and I'm sure we're getting through I'm sure that the group of people who are transforming dragons we're all in this together. We're trying to adapt to our new ways and it's pretty hard. And I heard that there is a group somewhere out there. I don't know who they are, but I'm hopefully we'll be in contact with them someday, um, whether through this transformation or through Dragon, and we'll be speaking. So just don't be afraid of your transformation and have a lot of love and support from your family even if it's hard on them, that you're gonna go off on an adventure, like a baby bird leaving its only home of its nest. So yeah.
I feel like we could all take that advice, even if we're not currently transforming into a dragon, although I do hope that is on my horizon, let's be real. I'm really excited by hearing that we're all dragons. Do we have any final questions out there from our audience? Anything just like you've been holding on your heart that you just like need to ask? Now is the time.
Well, I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm just really curious about what you think about dragon slayers. I mean, and have you planned for their eventual appearance? Because as soon as you start breathing fire, I'm sure that you're gonna have to deal with them.
Well, I guess we're on the endangered list right now, because like all mythical creatures, like for unicorns, they are just somewhere out there. I hope we don't get caught by a dragon slayer, because that would be awful. Because I don't have any phone I probably would not have any phone contacts or a computer to Zoom with all of you and say, hey, I'm getting killed by a dragon slayer, by the way. So
Well, I have a lot of faith that in the future you'll figure out a way to, bring them out of the Middle Ages. It's the 21st century, for crying out loud. So,
yeah,
thanks.
thank you.
Any final questions, Laura?
I do have one. Hi, Kirsten.
Hi, Laura.
I'm wondering if you have a sense if your transformation is steadily ongoing, or does it ebb and flow, or do you feel like what has begun has fully manifest as far as it will, or every day do you wake up and discover some new piece, and do things revert and go back to a more human form? I'm just curious how that process works, and if you are finding that every day or week or over time you're more and more and more fully dragon and maybe become less human and completely dragon eventually, or does it go back and forth? And if it does fluctuate, do you have a preference for where you kind of end up?
I guess it's just learning the different parts every day. Is like what I mentioned, is that the first night was I had dragon teeth. Then a couple days later, then I got dragon arms and dragon face. And so it's a everyday experience. And like I mentioned earlier, is that I'm making sure I'm writing things down in my book. So it's annoying to not know when this new part's coming in, because like the first time I started having horns on my head, like I didn't know I was having this headache that lasted like maybe a week. It was exhausting. It was annoying. A lot of painkillers and stuff like that. And then eventually I started having a lump on my head, 2 lumps, and that's where the horns were coming in. And I was like, okay, so that's what's going on. Is pounding sensation means I'm starting to have horns, and it's just an everyday experience. Annoying, but it's actually fun to understand.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kirsten, a question on, I think, everyone's mind is how do we keep up with you and your transition and your work moving forward?
Mm. Um, I don't know really. I by moving forward, uh, I really don't know to answer that question honestly. Well, is to avoid dragon slayers and then going to hiding, survive, um, make forest fires. I don't know, honestly, with my fire breathing. Um, I really
As the resident digital guy, I have to say, it's it's not very medieval, but Instagram can be a place to start.
that is true, yeah. But like I mentioned, that there's not really gonna be phone contact because eventually I won't be able to have my human mind or the ability to talk to people, because I'll lose the language of the humans, with whether it's English or Japanese or just the little bits of language I've learned over the years. And I'm actually like, for example, is like understanding my little dragon here, my little baby here. He's so cute. Oh. I know he's a pain in the butt. um, and, but Instagram it will be a good start, but it'll work over time. It's gonna be difficult, really.
That is a very good point. As Laura has said, you might have to designate someone as the documentarian,
Okay.
who can continue to document after you have gone beyond the pale of English.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Kirsten, I'm so grateful that you could join us on the program tonight, especially in this stage where you still have your human mind and are able to share your just incredible story with all of us. I know that we all have a lot to think about and chew on from that. And I just want to give everyone just one last chance. If you've got a question or something that you want to share, like now is your time. Oh, we have a question from Piera. There's a lot of art and digital work on your Instagram about dragons. How does this relate to your current practice?
Um, my current practice is pretty much continuing the love for dragons. I know that dragons, a lot of people say they're not really real, but they're actually real. They're out there somewhere. And I want to continue supporting that love for dragons and letting them know that there is someone out there that believes that they do exist. And there might be scientific or historical fact that there are actually dinosaurs. Yeah, but do dinosaurs actually breathe fire, or do they actually learn how to fly properly? But we'll never know because we're not with them right now. But I mean, I'm gonna be with them someday, and I'll make sure to let everyone know. Go like, hey, there is dinosaurs that actually can breathe fire. I don't know. So, um, yeah, just continuing my love, my belief in dragons, and yeah, that's all I can say, really.
I want everyone to congratulate you, Kirsten, for the amazing accomplishment that you have just completed. And that is no small feat of completing your BFA. And we're all so excited to be here with you in the virtual realm and to be able to host you on Snoofla Late Night TV. To do so is just such an honor for myself as a host.
Okay. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Yay!
Yay.
Thanks for presenting too. It was great.
Oh, there's everybody clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would have done it. Oh, yeah, I was like, I'll just sign.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is that clapping?
Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another absolutely mind-blowing and incredible episode of Snoofla Late Night TV. A big round of applause for our guest, Kirsten Vickery. Fantastic.
Yeah, Kirsten.
And as always, our phenomenal interviewer, Chris Lanier. Well done. So grateful to have you on the show. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you again next semester.
And I want to say one thing is good luck out there, you future BFA students. And good luck to all of you.
Thank you.
you.